So there's been a lot of news lately coming from a lot of different people. Apple, Microsoft, Bose, Google. Yeah, lots of news this week. So starting this off, let's talk about Apple. They actually started to make new guidelines specifically when it comes to game streaming services like XCloud, Stadia, and GeForce Now. Maybe. Do you think that they were doing GeForce Now too?
Possibly.
Yes, GeForce Now.
Okay.
So the thing is that their guidelines are so it's so difficult to get into their guidelines that I do not think that many companies are going to take advantage of them.
Yeah, it's a very interesting take on how they want to implement it. It's kind of like I think it falls into one of those wanting to have your cake and eat it too kind of thing. Where yeah, you don't want to seem like the bad guy and be like, oh, I completely ban your streaming stuff, but at the same time, you're still trying to capitalize um on your whole 30% thing going on and all that. So
Yeah, so I mentioned in the last stream that it wouldn't be that difficult for Apple to individually look at every single application, and that's what they're going to be requiring developers to do, to individually give the okay for every app or game that goes onto a service like Game Pass. However, the thing that I think that makes it difficult is the fact that they're making these services create apps for every single one of their video games, and I don't really think that's very easy to do.
no, yeah, it's almost like in every other platform, all you gotta do is you can just download it off. I'm assuming you can just download the game straight off of the streaming service, and everything will be all fine and dandy. Whereas in Apple's case, for one reason or another, your streaming platform pretty much becomes a place where, well, a place with a bunch of links that just lead to a bunch of game related apps that is available on the App Store. So it's kind of like a weird loop around kind of feeling where
Yeah.
you're getting the streaming app off of the App Store, which in turn, when you open it and try and open a game, it just takes you right back to the App Store to get the game.
As from a user's perspective, yeah, it's not the best, but I guess you could work around that. But the thing that really kills it is the development perspective. Want to talk about that one?
What we're basically understanding is, I guess, in the worst case scenario of like exactly how Apple's particularly taking the cut or their hard stance 30% cut this one. Definitely up there in the most likely scenario. There's got to be a good chance that those who are developing for like these different streaming platforms like Stadia and like even like XCloud and everything like that, along with having to give up, your certain percentage for, I believe it was like with Stadia, Google's already, taking a 30% cut so that, you can be featured in the streaming service. There's a good chance that once your game hits the App Store through this streaming service, your profits might also be getting hit really hard, like even harder with that 30% like Apple tax.
So
right?
yeah, there's that. But there's also the fact that more than likely when you need to update, say, the client for
Yeah.
Game Pass,
Forgot about that.
the client, you would probably need to send in a update request to Apple and get the updates approved every single time you need to update the client. But think about it like this. There are about 300 games on Game Pass. So you would need to get an update approved 300 times,
No, yeah.
which from a development perspective is terrible. And that's a lot of extra works and hoops to go through. But yeah, it looks like from what you were saying earlier, Jared, the 30% cut is probably going to be inside of their main application, so the actual Game Pass app. So Apple is requiring these services to have a pay with Apple type of payment method inside of the app, meaning that whenever you could set up a subscription to Game Pass through the Apple Store. However, that means that Apple is going to take 30% of the $15 of Game Pass, which is a lot of money. And I'm not sure how if Microsoft would even be able to do that since they have so many licensing deals inside of Game Pass. And especially with the inclusion of EA Play, there's a lot of different things that Microsoft needs this $15 that you give them to pay for. And I don't think that's that feasible for this type of service.
No, yeah, it already seems pretty iffy as to, how much like profit they're even making off of, having a service like this. Yeah, once again, as you mentioned, like considering like how many like different like licensing and all that ties into it. So it's it could be very possible that like having the service available on the App Store with the whole Apple tax and everything added onto it, it could very well be possible that you may be looking at either such a minuscule like profit margin, or I guess worst case scenario, a little bit of a net loss in certain cases. And yeah, ultimately it sounds like even if you do get yourself a really large audience, by having it available on iOS, it's could also be very possible that could actually do more harm than good in certain cases.
Yeah, so I don't think that Microsoft's going to go for it. Actually, Microsoft's actually made a statement to The Verge. Basically, they say that this remains a bad experience for customers, as in the actual way that you would need to download these apps. So, I mean, think about it like this. Do you really want to have 300 new icons on your iPhone screen? I don't think that you do. 300 icons are a lot of icons. I mean, obviously, you don't need to install every single game. But I could imagine a lot of people might play like 10 games at a time. Whatever they feel like they want to play at the time, because Game Pass allows stuff like that. And that's a feature that we've never been allowed before. We usually only play 1 or 2 games at a time because that's all we can afford to purchase at any given time. But Game Pass makes this different, and it's a very pro-consumer move in my mind, and it's a lot more of a Netflix type of thing.
Was it? I think even one of the articles kind of painted on like imagining like the whole idea of like if they had to treat this the same way as they're doing with Microsoft with like Netflix, just imagining that every single TV show or every single movie that you ever watch from Netflix, you'd have to head right back to the App Store, download it, and then, well, I guess it wouldn't really appear on the main menu because it's not really an app, but it's just a weird thing to think about that it's like, yeah, you can have that streaming service, but I mean, you're only getting the stuff out of it from our App Store.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that this is just Apple's way of being like, hey, you're allowed. You just need to play by our very restrictive rules so that you don't really take off. And I think this is just a way to get the governments off their back. That's just my guess. I'm not sure if that's true, but it really looks that way.
Yeah, allegedly.
Because I mean, if you look at this at surface level, it's they're allowed on the App Store now. So I mean, they're good, right? I mean, that's very surface level, but the way that they're implementing this is they're putting every single roadblock they possibly can into these streaming services, and it just doesn't make a good experience for both Microsoft and the user. Yeah, there's just too many ways that this can go wrong for people. So, just like last time, more technical difficulties, but we're fine. We're back. Anyway, back to more Apple news. So, Apple's going to have a new event on September 15th called Time Flies. And they're supposed to be releasing a new Apple Watch at that event. If they don't, well, I don't have any idea why they would call it Time Flies. That would just be weird.
Nah.
Anyway,
be hilarious.
So they're also supposed to be releasing a new iPad and a new laptop. most rumors have been pointing to a 12-inch MacBook. However, there is a rumor floating around from a less credible source, but it has some credibility, of a 14-inch MacBook Pro, which would be the first ARM MacBook Pro, and it's supposedly supposed to have some pretty impressive specs with a GPU comparable to the Radeon Pro 5500M, which is about the same as the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Imagine having that much power inside of a 14-inch laptop.
Oh yeah, that's really exciting to think about.
That's crazy. That's literal game-changing stuff right there. And assuming that's going to keep the same price points of about 1,800, that's a great value for that computer too. Which is weird to say about a MacBook.
Oh, yeah.
Value and MacBook, that doesn't usually go together, but in this case it just might. And since it's ARM, it's going to have great battery life too, which is another value add, which is something that Windows computers probably can't really talk about, because with that great battery life and that great performance, there's nothing comparable on the Windows side for that in a thin and light.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, this is pretty exciting. I don't know what else to say about that, but it's very exciting. I can't wait till these ARM stuff start coming out. It actually might make me excited about laptops all over again. Well, I am excited about laptops all over again. Who am I kidding? Yeah.
Just an extra reason to continue to get hyped. The laptop space has been, well, until as of recent, been pretty quiet.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet, pretty boring. There hasn't been many game changers like in the foldable phone space. There has been a lot of foldable phones lately. I really wish that I could get myself a Surface Duo.
Yeah. That one looks really cool.
It does. The iPhone 12 is probably not going to be at this event due to like supply chain issues or whatever. So, oh well, that's slightly disappointing, but at the same time, well, do you really need a new phone?
Yes.
Ask yourself, do you need a new phone?
Absolutely. How dare you assume otherwise?
Then get yourself a Flip.
Good point. I'll be right back. No.
A Z Flip or a Z Fold or whatever.
Galaxy Z Fold 2.
Oh yeah, that thing looks pretty good, but I still would get a Duo. I really can't wait for the Duo to come out.
The Duo looks solid. Motorola's still kicking with that nostalgia. That Razr.
Yeah, actually that Motorola phone looks pretty good too, the Razr.
Yeah.
The new one. It looks really good this time around. That would be another one that I wish I could check out, but we don't have the money for.
Yeah. I would purchase if only for the reason of being able to hang up by doing that very satisfying click.
Well, it's not just that. The fact that it's such a small phone when you fold it.
Oh, yeah.
That's another huge thing. I mean, the fact that you can actually put it in a small pocket.
Oh, yeah. Being able to compactly fit in your pockets is always a nice plus.
Yeah, so...
Pockets are getting full, man. It's crazy these days.
Pretty excited about that stuff. Folding phones, man, it's something else.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's expensive at the moment, but it's good stuff.
Oh yeah, it's very expensive at the moment. Anyway, let's start moving on. Since we're talking about Microsoft anyway, let's just go with Microsoft. So Microsoft, in the previous video, we mentioned that they announced the Xbox Series S console, which is a very impressive system for only $300. Or was it $299?
$299.99.
Who knows? Either way,
all hail that 1 cent.
It's basically this. It's the same thing. Let's be honest here. It's the same thing. Either way, it's gonna be more than $300 plus with tax.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed. But anyway, there's been another development. They actually made a financing plan. I know that a lot of people hate financing. Financing is a big commitment. And honestly, a lot of times I would recommend against it because there's interest. However, this time it might actually be a good deal. For $25 a month, you can get a Series S console bundled with with Game Pass Ultimate. Um, how much is Game Pass Ultimate? I forgot.
Oh, that one
Let
will
me
run
look that
you
one
a
up.
smooth $15 a month.
So $15 a month, so that's $10 more and a month, and you can get yourself a console. If you do it like this, it's $60 less expensive than getting Game Pass for 2 years and purchasing a Series S console, which is actually a pretty good deal, reminiscent of when cell phone carriers used to subsidize their prices by, making a 2-year contract with them. And honestly, Game Pass Ultimate is a very good value add to this, and I would probably purchase it anyway.
No, yeah. There's a lot of there've been a lot of exciting additions that have been getting onto, and a lot of exciting features getting into Game Pass Ultimate. But yeah, $10 extra month for, was it 24 months? But it does. I mean, it includes an entire console, so I mean,
Yeah,
can't argue with
and
that.
honestly, I think that they absolutely need to come up with something because the value of Game Pass plus this financing deal, and they don't have anything on this. And the fact that the Series S starts at $400. Oh no, 300. I'm sorry.
$399.99.
The Series S is $299. My bad.
Oh,
But
sorry.
either way, $300. That's still a lot less money than the supposed price tag of the PlayStation 5, which is probably going to be either like 450, 550, whatever. So just the fact that they have this cheaper system means that people are like buying gifts or whatever, or people like shopping for Christmas are going to look at the price tag and be like, oh, this is a next generation console and it's a bit cheaper. Why don't I just buy this for my son, grandchild, whatever?
The younger
So
spawn shall have the Series S.
and even at that, I mean, there's an argument to be made for the Series X because of the fact that it has Game Pass. You can purchase Game Pass, which, is a subscription service, but you can play a lot of games using it. As said earlier in this, there's like over like 300 games, and you can actually play whatever you're feeling like at the moment, which is not something that you really think of because games are usually very expensive. As our recent Android convert, you want to talk about the next one?
Oh, all the things that I'm assuming all the things that I'm going to be missing out as an Android convert.
Yes.
All right, rub blood salt in the wounds. Why don't? No, I'm kidding. All right. So, as a recent trader, I feel it's only appropriate to try and appease the Android fan base by discussing all the great things that are coming or that have arrived. Yeah, that have arrived with Android 11. All in this admittedly very flashy and very nice website.
Yeah, Google did a very good job on this website.
All right, so what are we looking at? Starting off with some nice little, slice of life updates. Got some nice little updates to, I guess, how you manage all of your text and chat options, including bubbles. Can never get mad when saying bubbles. Anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know if I actually like that feature. I remember when Facebook Messenger does that, and I always disabled that feature.
Yeah, the only time I give it gripes is if I have to like do some kind of like screen recording thing for like, if I'm playing like a mobile game like Pokemon Go, which I occasionally do on my other channel, Verge Trainer. You should check it out. Subscribe if you want. Subtle, not so subtle. Plug aside. Yeah, the only time I really find the bubbles kind of annoying is, if it pops up in the middle of screen recording. But then again, if chat thing, if a message pops up anyway, whether it be from the top bar or the bubble, it pops up anyway. So yeah, ultimately the bubbles are nice. I can't argue against that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. Even though it's not my preference, it's a new feature, and I always like new features. Having different ways to interact with your phone is always a good thing.
Oh yeah, always neat. Keep it fresh.
Speaking of screen recording, though, I
Oh,
finally
yeah.
have screen recording built in.
Screen recording is built in. Oh my goodness.
You don't need to have Samsung to add it in for you anymore.
Honestly, I feel like we've relied so heavily on like third party or Samsung stuff that I honestly kind of forgot Android it's in and of itself doesn't have built-in screen recording.
Yeah, it's weird because normally you think that Samsung's additions are pretty useless, but there are some very useful things inside of there.
But now Android can take care of that. As to how well it records, we'll have to wait and see, but it's baked right in.
Okay,
so
you
I'm
can't get much worse than Samsung's one. I have never seen a single clip from Samsung actually come out in my editing program properly. It's weird. It always says a weird FPS, and it always has... It skips frames from time to time, and it annoys me.
Yeah.
And I can never know if it's going to record the mic or if it's going to record gameplay audio.
Yeah. That's always a tough one to figure out. The bar has been set, and it's not very high, so you got this.
Another thing that I actually find pretty exciting, Smart Reply. So the reason why I find Smart Replies pretty exciting is because in iOS you have, these emojis that you could literally just send on the fly by basically long pressing a message and then selecting like or whatever. So the reason why I like Smart Reply is so that you don't really, when you don't have too much time but you want to send something anyway, you just open the message, press something, press send, and then move on with your day because maybe you're doing something that requires more attention than just going on your phone and texting a fast reply.
Yeah, sometimes it's just very nice to have the extra option. Like if you're busy, but you don't want to accidentally ghost your family and friends because you could have sent that easy like okay or yeah, sounds good and all that, but life happens and days go on and beyond that, it's just nice to be able to have like just a way to quickly send out something just to provide a reply.
That's pretty exciting. Other things is that it looks like they're actually kind of improving the Google Home app with device controls. I don't really know.
Yeah.
It looks like the Google Home app. I'm not sure though.
Gotta capitalize on
Because
the
I
fact
know
that they
that-
have Nest. Anyway.
Oh yeah. You could do the rest of this, Jared, but I really want to talk about this. Media controls.
Media controls.
My gosh. They finally have a way that you can manage which device you're playing to. I have hated that so much about Android when I used to be on it. It was so difficult to figure out which device it's going to play on. It's easy to change devices on iOS because it has a very similar feature to this. But this makes it so much easier and you don't have to rely on Samsung smart things.
The more we talk about this, the more I'm slowly beginning to realize exactly how much Samsung's been trying to attempt to carry off these like much desired features on their own.
I mean, I have to admit, not having that feature is worse than having Samsung's implementation because even though Samsung's implementation wasn't the best, at least the feature is there.
It's something.
And that's what matters.
And something's always better than nothing.
Want to talk about privacy from the one company that hates privacy?
So, no longer do you just have to provide access to like device location or like to messages and stuff and just let it either sit in the back and just keep collecting data, or going to, I'm guessing, manually change the permissions on that. Now you have options to just give like one-time permissions. So any apps that require, like location or like micro camera, instead of just giving it access and just forgetting about it, you can just give it a one-time permission for this, for this moment. So you can rest easy that after this moment.
I also like the fact that you could also do like iOS, that you could give it permissions only while using the app. So they can't track your location when you're outside of the app. Which is amazing.
It's very nice.
I'm so happy that Google's catching up on this one. I really didn't think that they would, but here we are.
Truly, the amount of quality of life updates in this one is nothing short of fantastic.
It looks like the other thing is permissions auto reset. So if you haven't used an app for a while, it just resets the permission. Which means that apps that you forgot about just can't keep collecting data on you, which is pretty great.
That's nice. Gives you that extra peace of mind so that you don't have to worry about any apps just looming in the background, tracking wherever you go, listening to your conversations, and trying to sell you something based on it.
So it looks like that they're also updating their security stuff. I mean, people are like, security with Android, what's that? Android's actually a very secure system. The only reason why you wouldn't think that's secure is because iOS is just more secure. It's because of the fact that Google Play misses more things like malware on their store than iOS does. But honestly, they still do a very good job at it. Google does security very well. It's weird to say, because normally people think about privacy and security being the same thing, but really isn't. Google is pretty bad at privacy, but they're very good when it comes to security. So with Android 11, they basically send security updates straight from Google Play, which is it's a really good way of keeping your phone up to date, so that you don't need to rely on device manufacturers sending you security updates all the time, which is very slow, meaning that you're less likely to get that new malware that's out in the wild now.
It's very once again, it has that much needed extra comfort and much needed extra security to know that instead of relying on the several I'm assuming several to tens of various companies that do make devices for Android 11, instead of having to wait on them to get their security update out and about, Google just took the mantle onto themselves, just said, you know what, we'll do it ourselves, and there you go. You get all your security and private fixes straight from Google Play.
Yeah, it's pretty great seeing the fact that they don't need to get approved by Verizon anymore.
Hey.
Is that too specific? I'm sorry. I remember back when I had my Droid X back in like 2011 or whatever. Verizon took forever to approve updates. I mean, I know they've gotten a lot better, but man, months. I'm talking months later than after like AT&T and T-Mobile got their updates. It was pretty bad.
What could have even gone into like a review process like that? That could take months.
I don't know. Putting the bloatware on there, because I remember back then Verizon was also very heavy on their bloatware.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, there's also other improvements with Android 11, such as like 3P performance optimizations, which is nice because honestly, they need more integration like that, because photo sharing platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, Android camera stuff has been pretty pretty bad. That's an understatement. It's very bad. And that needs to change. People need to... These companies need... Google needs to make a better API to integrate cameras into these apps. I think you can agree with me on that one, Jared.
No, yeah. That one I'll agree with you on that.
There's other things like bedtime mode, which quiets your phone when it's time to go to sleep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that's really the biggest... Oh, I forgot Nearby Share. This is a godsend. Nearby Share. AirDrop for Android. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for this to happen because AirDrop is such an amazing feature on iOS. You don't understand what you're missing using AirDrop unless you've used it. Gigabytes of data transferred in seconds wirelessly. It's crazy.
No, yeah.
I'm just so happy that they're finally getting this.
It's
That's something that
happening.
really made me want to go to iOS.
Also one of the reasons why I decided to make the switch, but apparently Android's getting it now too, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, except you haven't actually used the AirDrop yet.
Hey, that's not true. I've sent footage to you before.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like, it was pretty impressive though, wasn't
It
it?
was. That was
Like large files really quickly without any thoughts.
No, yeah. It was a really impressive experience. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, this might sound weird, but I'm excited about this. I'm surprised that they haven't implemented this earlier since, Linux usually does this. Google Play system updates while your phone is idle with no full reboot required.
Huh.
Any Linux fans up there knows that this is like a Linux staple. And Android is built upon Linux. I cannot believe that it took them so long to do this.
Starting to kind of feel like that's the slogan of like Android 11 in general. I can't believe it took them so long to do this.
That's you're right. That basically is. Wait, you weren't able to schedule dark mode before?
You could do what?
Like, okay, on iOS you can basically use the sunset and sunrise times to change between dark mode and light mode.
Huh.
I never realized that you couldn't set a schedule for dark mode on Android before. I'm happy. Good for you. I can't believe it took them so long to do
I can't
this.
believe it took them so long.
This is a story, isn't it? I can't believe it took them so long to do this.
It is. But here we are.
I mean, these are some great things, but it just took a long time.
It did.
Good job, Google. Good job. If you could give me better ways to put in my password, I might password for what's it called again? The password management apps. I might switch back.
There's a chance.
But until then, I'm sorry. I need password management apps, and Google just does it so weirdly. It works sometimes, and in other apps it doesn't work. Can't you just require developers to use that feature, please? And add it into Chrome, please.
Oh, that I'm actually surprised you haven't added it yet.
Can't believe you can't do it in Chrome. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. PUBG game owner basically tried to distance itself from Tencent because they got banned in India. And apparently India has a lot of users. It looks like India accounted for 24% of the downloads of PUBG Mobile.
Oh.
Ouch.
Ooh.
That's a lot. 175 million installs.
Dang.
Wow. So yeah, there's a lot of PUBG really wants India because of the install base, and I
Yeah.
understand why.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that a lot of users in India also want PUBG to be back because I could imagine that those millions of people really love this game.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, so PUBG Corporation, I mean, they really want this, and looks like they are willing to get a Chinese conglomerate kind of angry at them to do this, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
It really does.
I would too.
So, yeah, I mean,
That's 24%.
I think that PUBG needs India because 20 something percent of anyone's market is a lot of money
No, yeah.
lost. Last topic now. Let's end this on a good note. Something that I think that everyone, well, not everyone would enjoy, but everyone will agree is good. The Bose Quietcomfort earbuds. Thank you for giving the AirPods one more competitor, because we all know they need them.
Really
I don't know what it is about Well, I mean, they're so easy to use. That's just Apple in a nutshell. But I don't completely understand why it's only AirPods that have really caught on when it comes to wireless earbuds. Well, true wireless earbuds. I'm sorry.
True.
I know that there's a lot of other companies that are catching up, and there's a lot of cheap options out there. However, I'm happy that Bose is entering this because with their noise cancellation, because we all know Bose has very good noise cancellation. I don't know if it's going to be as good as Sony's ones because Sony has been in this game for a lot longer, but this design looks so much cleaner than Sony's.
No, yeah. This is a very solid design.
Yeah, it looks like they decided to go with a very minimalistic, like, I mean, I wouldn't call it cheap looking, but it doesn't look as premium as the Sony's. But it's not flashy, which I like. I don't think that earbuds should be flashy. I think that it should just be there. It should be like inside of your ears and just kind of get out of your way. That's how I believe that these earbuds should work.
No, yeah.
So it looks like you should have about 6 hours of charge in your earbuds, along with 12 more hours in the charging case. 15 minutes should give you about 2 hours of battery life of charge per charge. Oh, and you can charge wireless by any Qi certified wireless charging mat. It's pretty neat.
That is neat.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this because Bose they make some pretty good sounding earphones, and I love Sony stuff, but I like Bose's stuff slightly better because it doesn't have as much bass. I'm the type of person that prefers to have a very balanced sound. Sony is usually pretty balanced. I'm not going to deny that, but they have a slightly bassier sound usually.
Yeah, get the little extra feel to every to every.
I know that you love your bass though, Jared.
Oh yeah.
You really love your bass. You'd buy the Sonys. I know you. You'd buy the Sonys.
Oh, absolutely. If I could find a way to boost the bass even higher, no, I don't know. Is that too
I
much
actually
bass?
think that the app can boost the bass higher on the Sonys. Don't quote me on that one, but I think that you can.
That sounds like too much power. One man should not have this kind of power.
Yeah. But one man also should not have the power to end this show. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do whatever you guys do on YouTube. Jared, do you have anything to add?
I can't believe it took them so long.
Oh yeah, this is another thing. I can't believe it took them so long. Oh, Bose, this should have been an easy one for you. But no, you waited.
You had to get it just right. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's got to be somewhere in the marketing. Let's be real.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Hope you guys liked it. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you in the next one. Bye for now.
See ya.